The closest I ever got to playing sports would have been back in, oh gosh, what grade was that? Sixth or seventh grade? It wasn't even a sport necessarily, like, you know, it wasn't one of those things where like, oh, you have this whole school team and then you go out on these different, what do they call them, tournaments or whatever, where you go out and like match up against different schools, and sometimes you have like multiple schools in one day you'll fight or whatever. Like, no, it was nothing like that. It was literally just like this after school club or whatever, but it was actually pretty rad. It was definitely sixth grade now that I'm thinking about it. Sixth grade, man, that was like a whole decade ago already. How has it been that long? Anyway, basically how it was set up, and it was kind of funny because one of my math teachers from sixth grade was running it. Well, he was never specifically my teacher. He was just one of the math teachers at my school, but it was him and some other guy. I forget who he was, but there was also like another teacher involved, and basically they just ran this after school street hockey club where, again, it wasn't like, you know, ice hockey or any other sort of hockey. No, it was street hockey, aka we'd go outside to, obviously it was middle school, so it wasn't necessarily a recess area, but it was like the basketball court outside. You had like the 2 basketball nets. There was also like some hopscotch looking shapes in the middle there, and then if you basically how the recess worked in my middle school was you were either playing basketball, doing the cool little hopscotch or hopsketch or what, hopscotch, right? That's what it's called, hopscotch. Or there was also like other mini games they had set up outside where you could like bounce a ball between your friends or this, that, or the other, or you were just like walking around the outside circle of all that, which that's typically what I would do. I would just walk around the outside circle. But anyway, that's where the street hockey would take place, just right out there on the pavement. And man, let me tell you, kids were getting banged up out there, dude. Because here's the thing, there was no chicks out there. It was all just a bunch of like 12 to 14-year-old dudes just whacking each other with sticks. Get your mind out of the gutter. You are disgusting. Instead of playing with a normal puck, you know, as you would in normal hockey, we were playing with like a, it wasn't exactly a tennis ball. It was sort of like no, it wasn't even a baseball either. I don't know. It was a small ball though. And then we had like, you know, normal hockey sticks. And it was absolutely brutal because nobody was wearing any protective gear. The only person that had protective gear would have been the person defending the net. So, like, they had some knee pads, and they also had, like, those baseball mitts on just in case the ball would fly up. And I think they also had, like, some sort of face. Actually, no, I don't think they had face gear at all. Yeah, that's right. Nobody had face gear because anytime anybody got hit in the mouth, they'd have to go sit on the bench. So, yeah, the only thing that we had protecting us was, first off, you had to be defending the net. And even if you were, it was only, like, something for your knees, your elbows, and then you also had, like, the baseball mitt. And that was the only protection. So basically it was this game of, okay, you either get out of the way and let me get this ball into the net, or I'm going to use your face to bounce the ball off into the net. So either way, like, the other team was going to win. And I can't tell you how many times people would literally smack the ball so hard that it would fly up off the ground, smack somebody in the face, bounce off their nose, and go into the net. And there, might have been a little blood on the pavement and the ball afterwards. But I mean, hey, a score is a score. It was one of those things where, like, I was never really one for after school clubs or, doing all sorts of like sports or recreational activities in my school. But that was one where like one of my buddies was doing it, so I was like, all right, you know what, that'll give us some time to just kind of hang out after school. And the teacher that was running it was like really cool. He was one of those teachers where he was like best friends with all the students, right? Like he was really cool. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. Then at the end of the year, we had like this really dope pizza party where they got pizza from, oh wow, look at that, 65 to 21, I'll take it. Where they got pizza from one of the most delicious local joints. It was one of those pizza places that had those really thick like New York style slices. Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's funny, my offense game wasn't necessarily the best. I don't know, when it comes to sports, I've just never been the best at offense. Like anytime I had to play like basketball for gym class or like the hockey thing I've been talking about, like, my offense game was alright, but when it comes to defense, man, I can defend like there's no tomorrow. Like, anytime we were playing a match, people wanted me on defense. It's just one of those things where when I'm on offense, yeah, sure, I'm quick and I'm Asian and all that, but, with me being Asian, my field of vision is a bit worse, so my eyes, it's hard to track where everything's going when I'm on offense, but when I'm on defense, that's where the Asian swiftness comes into play. The other team, yeah, sure, their offense, the kids on that team, nobody there was like, straight up ripped or anything like that, right? Like, it wasn't like, like the football athletes out there. It was just, your run-of-the-mill dudes out there. Some of the kids in there were a little overweight. Some were potentially a little underweight. Nobody was like, I don't know, super buff by any means. But still, I wasn't scared of anybody coming my way. If you came my way, I was defending that night like my life depended on it. Just imagine a 12-year-old little grotesque out there spinning around, doing all sorts of 360s, defending the ball, clacking sticks, hitting people's shins. Most kids played it pretty straight, but some did play it a little dirty. Some would start whacking the shins to get the ball out of the way, and then they just play it off like it was an accident. accident, you know. I never did it intentionally, but I will say I did hit a few people's shins, and I did feel really bad after, because I'm sorry, but hitting somebody in the shin is almost as bad as hitting them in the groin. Like, that is just a low blow cheap shot. In fact, most of the time when I get hit in the shin, it hurts worse than when I get hit in the groin, because sure, getting hit in the groin, it hurts in a way that I literally can't explain, but it's also like, usually when you get hit in the groin, the pain is so extreme that your brain tunes it out just to keep you from going into shock because it hurts that bad. I mean, that is until your brain forces you to feel it, then yeah, it hurts really bad, but still, getting hit in the shin, it's different. But yeah, that was one of the most dude clubs if I've ever seen a dude club, you know what I mean? Like, everybody there was dudes, everybody was there just to beat the crap out of each other, play some quote-unquote sports again. It was just sort of like a street hockey thing, right? Again, nothing too serious. Like, we still kept scoring. We're like, all right, here's the match we're gonna do, you know, see who wins in the end, and that was really just that.